Welcome to the Billionaire Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Emmett Muckles. Please visit iTunes, Stitcher, or emmettmuckles.com to listen to all the episodes for free.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Billionaire Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Emmett Muckles. That's right, Emmett and friends. This is how we roll. Today is the day that you were given and you woke up and you put your feet on the floor, and guess what? You got another chance. You even have another chance to predict the future, because whatever you can imagine, you can make happen, making you a magician. I just need you to understand that. The billionaire lifestyle is not about money. It is literally not about money, because you are a billionaire. 2 to the power of 30. That's how many times your sales replicated in 30 days, and you were a billion sales. So you are a billionaire. So I want you to know how special you are. And I am going to say this at the beginning of every podcast, just so that it gets into your core. Anywho, moving on. Today, my guest is Tommy Breedlove. He is a Wall Street Journal and USA Today bestselling author of the book Legendary. Now, check this out. He is ATL based. He's a relationship and mindset coach who is regularly featured keynote speaker at global events. What up, TB?
What's happening, Emmett? And I just gotta call you out. Your countdown for the show was in English, Spanish, and German. I love it. That's when you know you're rolling strong. I love it, and I love the opening. It's everything I believe in. So what a powerful opening too, man.
All right, man. So you were that guy. You're that Anglo-Saxon male who was at the top of the game, and you're like, something ain't right. You're like, something ain't right. My soul is not settled. Well, because you said, hey, I had a transformational moment. What was that?
I've had 2 in my life, and I'll talk about the first one at the top of the game. I come from humble beginnings, south side of Atlanta, and nobody. It's outside, and right, if you've been stuck or in the Atlanta airport, 5 minutes from there. And so that's that part of the city of Atlanta. And so, coming from humble beginnings, no one in my family had ever reached any professional success, we'll say to that, or graduated college or had an education. And I was slated to be the first one. And grew up. And this is going to get to the major transformation. Some people call my transformation a rock bottom moment. I'll just call it a spiritual transformation because it sounds sexy. But at 18 years old, I grew up in and around, especially inside the home and sometimes on the street, in and around a lot of violence and abuse. And for me, how that manifested in my life as a young man is I became what I hated as a high school person. And it was mostly behind the scenes, but I became that anger, that violence, and that abuse. And at 18 years old, when I had a scholarship down at the University of Miami in Florida, a full ride to Georgia, and a few others, instead of going that route, I decided, made the bad choice of committing a violent crime when I was 18 years old, looking at 7 years in prison. Ended up luckily being dropped down to misdemeanors. I don't know if you and I'd be having this conversation because you get in the system and you can't get out, right? And so what was interesting about that is I was sentenced and spent my 19th birthday incarcerated. And the first transformation happened in my life there is finally some male mentorship appeared in my life. And it came in the form of an African-American gentleman. Why that's important is in institutions.
Whoa. Stop.
Yeah.
While you were locked up?
Yeah. While I was locked up.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me explain something to you. So I'm a man of color. He is a lighter toned man.
Tan at the moment, though, I must say.
You are pretty tan.
At the summertime.
But typically, if we are incarcerated, we could be brothers. We could literally be blood brothers. But if we're incarcerated together, we can't really jive together.
You don't cross racial lines, man.
You don't.
It's very clicked.
That's why I had to stop, because that's some heaven sent stuff.
Indeed. It really is heaven sent. It was really divine. and it was something that I needed. And he was significantly, I was 18, getting ready to go on 19. He was in his mid 40s and saw something in me. And in his words, he called me young blood. And in his words, he was like, young blood, you're not going to become a member of this revolving door society, because once you get in it, it's almost impossible to get out. And he nurtured me. He mentored me. He loved me when I couldn't even love myself. And because of his guidance, instead of going down that road, I decided to dust myself off, and when I got out, went to work for a nuclear waste container factory, man, for $6 an hour in Atlanta, and went and worked put myself through community college at night. And then eventually that did lead to the University of Georgia. And I went from literally a jail cell to a company called Deloitte in 3 years, which at the time was one of the 4 largest financial consulting firms in the world. Now I think it's number 1. Right. And so just from his guidance, mentored, and some hard work and grit on my part, I was going to finally become something successful in my life. This is the major transformation. This is the second transformation, is what you were talking about, is, I was at the top of the game. So I thought if I just outworked you, out-hustled you, outmaneuvered you, because I wasn't like a lot of people there. A lot of people there, came from money, means, and they grew up in a loving, abundant household, where me, as I just was going to outwork you, because I never thought I actually belonged.
Right.
So there I am at 36, right? Finally got the corner office, the shiny cufflinks, the car, the pretty girl. And when the money, the power, the next deal didn't fill me up, I couldn't feel like why I was still that scared, angry young man. And I couldn't figure out why I felt different, and that didn't fill me up, right? And I didn't come from any money. And so I finally had money, but I was still miserable in every way. And when that didn't fill me up, brother, I turned to all of the darkness. Think of the Wolf of Wall Street type lifestyle. I was literally leading that because I thought that gave me power, significance. And, I was one of the guys, right? We're going to go be men's men, and we're going to do all this crazy stuff. And the moment happened when I woke up downtown Atlanta. And I was traveling all over the planet too, but that night I was in downtown Atlanta. The next morning I woke up literally in a ditch, staring up at the sky.
You had a Wolf of Wall Street moment for real.
Yeah. Literally staring up at the sky and said, how do I get here? How did I get here? Why am I here? And what can I do to make it better? And brother, I went on this mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, transformative experience. And I remember at the time, my wife and I, of course, because I was a complete crazy man, was going through marriage counseling.
Right.
And I'll never forget this counselor, because he saw something deep and dark, and I was closed, man. I didn't allow myself to feel. I was angry. I was mean. And it was just manifesting itself in the business world, which I was applauded, right? Good job. Good job, man. Good job. Go out, win the day, seize it, carpe diem. And this counselor said, look, man, there's a place in Tennessee that can do more for you in 7 days than I can do in 10 years. And I heard him. And when I woke up in the ditch, I went home. I'm not recommending doing this, because I went home and told my wife everything. And I mean everything.
Ooh.
And I said, babe, I'm going to go to this place in Tennessee. I don't expect you to be here when I get back, but I've got to do something about this. Whatever you want is yours. I'll come back, and I'm going to make this better for myself and, God willing, for us. But if you're here, I'm all in. If you're not, I understand. And I went there, and they literally helped me feel again, helped me know I wasn't alone. There was people from all walks of life, from rock stars to CEOs to regular Joes like me, and everything in between. But I finally realized I wasn't alone in my fears, my insecurities, and I didn't realize how much my wounds and my story was still affecting me as a grown man at 36 years old. And so from that point on, after those 7 days, I literally made me my full-time job. And Emmett, I got to tell you, once I took off all those masks, tough guy, cool guy, important guy, powerful guy, can't ask for help guy, all that BS, right? All that alpha stuff we do, man. I was still in the locker room, and I was still on the street. I was just doing it in business. And when I finally just, like Eminem says, with the real Slim Shady stand up, the real Tommy Breedlove finally showed up. And he showed up for himself, and he showed up with compassion, love, empathy, self-confidence, self-respect, and living a life of integrity. And man, in 3 years, I never planned on writing a best-selling book or coaching or running masterminds for a living. But in that 3 years, from the moment of that ditch to the next 3 years, my network 10x'd, my relationship with my wife, who stuck around. She's an angel and just a real foundation in my life. She stuck. My relationship with her is the best it's ever been. I doubled my income, and I went from junior partner to senior partner to owner of the firm to the board of directors in 3 years, just by being the leader, man, and human that I've always wanted to be. And it was a lot of hard work. I literally, even to this day, 11 years later, at least 1 to 2 hours a day working on my mental game, my inner game, my emotional game, my physical game. And by just being a kind, compassionate guy, everything manifested in my life. And that's when the biggest transformation happened, is all of these other entrepreneurs, excuse me, corporate executives, bankers, lawyers, they all just, excuse me, brother, they all started reaching out to me. I'm going to grab some water real quick.
No problem.
They said, look, I don't know what you did, but you didn't give up your ambition and drive, but you're more at peace. You're more happy. And you're just a human that I look up to. What drug are you taking, by the way? Cause I need some of that. And how can I get some of it? And by about the 10th or 15th person, I was like, this is a calling. You've got to follow this. So I literally sold my equity and walked away at the top of my game. 60% of our household income went away overnight. And I chased this dream of becoming a world-class business mindset and relationship coach because I had done it in my life.
I like how you got the books in the back too.
Oh, thank you, man. You got to advertise. It's on my phone cover too. But when I saw how much the work that I had done started transforming other people's lives, I was like, there is a essential playbook. And the book Legendary, and I'll explain where the title came in a minute, but the book Legendary came from the things that simple things every day, from time to purpose to mindset to money to unconditional love to intimate relationship. These are the things I worked on every single day, and I saw it transform other people's lives. That's when I said, hey, and my mentors and coaches, which I still have, said, man, you got to write this book. And I wrote it, and it's become a commercial success. And I think because books like this and so many other great pieces of literature out there really are necessities during this time and not luxuries, so that, like you said, we can live the life of our dreams, man. So that's my story.
It's funny because I was just having this conversation with someone today about the mask that men have to wear, because as soon and they become a part of us, and after a while they just become tiring,
exhausting.
And you're going to do one of two things. You're either going to leave the environment where you have to wear the mask, or you're going to break down. And that's what happens with a lot of people. I'm really shocked because you've had some guiding angels along the path.
Don't know why either, man.
What was the name of the facility that you went to?
It's a Clayton County jail.
No, I'm talking about in Tennessee.
Oh, sorry. So if people know Clayton County, they'll know that place. Yeah. If people in the South, they know Clayco. The facility, it's called OnSite Workshops, and it is a special place in this planet. I've recommended countless of men and women and clients to go to it. It is the most transformational 7 days. And they asked me to come back for another 7 days, not because I had overcome some pretty significant physical, emotional, and sexual abuse as a young man. And a lot of men don't talk about that as well.
That's real. That's
very real. And it carries, it gets in our DNA, brother. And so the next 7 days was all about overcoming that and being a better person, and not feeling like a freak inside, because a lot of times I did. And so that second 7 days, which I don't talk about a lot, it was a much smaller group of men who have been through a lot of things in their life. And there's some things you can't unhear. But it was so instrumental for me to just move forward and to finally open up and realize, hey, I'm not alone. I don't have to hide this anymore, and I can do something about it, and I can be who I want to be in the way I want to be it. So that was powerful as well.
That's a real thing. One thing that I know in life that drives us or makes us do certain things or act a certain way or corrupts our firmware even is shame. And there's a lot of shame that is placed upon men. Here's something else that is happening right now, because men are under the gun. Our time is shifted. We're going into a feminine age. We're going into a softer age. You can literally feel it around you. It's like a train that's moving, and if you get in front of it, it's going to run you over. Particularly in this country, white men. White men get in front of that, it's going to speed up, it's going to jump up and land on. Do you feel that people are coming to terms with that or discussing that with you, how the times are changing and they're having a hard time changing with it as well?
Yes and no. Some men feel that masculinity is under attack. Whether that's true or not is debatable. I think we need the feminine energy, and I think we need masculine energy. And I think there is something as toxic masculinity, but I also think it takes both, right? We need the men and women have masculine traits and feminine traits, and we do as well. It takes both, right?
Yep.
But we can't lose. You can't take the warrior spirit out of us. You can't take the competitive spirit out of us. And, at the end of the day, we are carnal. We are attracted to, a lot of us are attracted. Some men are attracted to men, but a lot of us are attracted to women, and you're not going to take that out of us. It's just how we choose to interact with the other, gender in that. So I think like every great social movement, in my opinion, there's the truth and love is there, right? We just got to be careful of not becoming what we hate. The movement can't become the bully and the toxicity, right?
Yeah,
you can't become what you hate.
And that's what
Trust me, for someone who is abused and came up in violence, I became the exact thing that I hated. I became that violence and anger. And with whatever movement it is, whether the Me Too movement or any other great social movement, you just don't want to become the thing that you despise. And it's so easy to do, right?
Excuse me.
You got bugs?
I got a lot of fruit in the house, man. So I got gnats everywhere.
And I love that you got the beach in the background. It was like, you got beach flies around you, man.
They're notorious.
I love it.
But I'm eating healthy. I'm going veganish.
There you go. Veganish. That's a whole other podcast, man.
Right. So with your change in life, you had a change in lifestyle too. Financially, how were you impacted, and how was your family going along with this? You're like, hey, I need to leave this behind and I need to do something else. That's a tough conversation for men to have with the people in their life. And it doesn't necessarily have to be finances. It could just be, you're not the person that I typically know. Who is this cat? And someone saying, look, that person that I'm about to pivot and I'm going to look different to you spiritually. So did you have any, I don't want to say opposition, but any resistance to what was going on during the transitional period?
Massive, both internally and externally. And the war inside with that voice inside our head, and we all got it. I call it Tommy go round. My wife has named it Ike. That voice inside my head, I literally had visions. I knew I was going to have to leave because I had no passion and love for that world anymore. Yeah. So I had to leave, or it's going to kill me. I literally thought it was going to give me a heart attack. And so, internally, the fight was extremely difficult, and the fear, the insecurity. My wife is. Here's where I'm very fortunate: is my wife is also a successful business person. We met in business school, okay. And so, but because of my background and humble beginnings, I had these visions of me living under a bridge, and I'm not kidding. I'm gonna talk about the external naysayers as well. I had this vision of being homeless, literally being homeless. I started canceling cable. I sold my car. Total scarcity mentality, right? And she's like, baby, you're not canceling my cable. I'm telling you, I'm not allowing you to cancel. I'm not kidding. I was literally going into, hey, I need to make this work. I need to change some of my lifestyle things. So there was that internal battle that I had to overcome. And it took great mentors and coaches and friends, the people who truly loved and believe in you, and say, hey, go get it. Because I knew I didn't want to die with regrets. I knew if I didn't go chase this dream at the end of my days, I said, well, you never even got in the arena, man. You never got in the game. You just talked about being in the game. You never played the game. And so it was important for me. But I have to say the unconditional support I had from my significant other
Mm-hmm.
was paramount to this being successful. Without her, it would have never happened, right? I never would have been the success. However, people in my firm, especially my fellow board members and partners, I got emails like, you're an idiot. I got people in my network completely wrote me off as a non-successful person. If you want to make a massive spiritual and mental and professional change in your life, you'll see who your true friends are.
Yeah.
And were they in love? Did they really like me, or did they love the status of knowing the international practice leader of a large firm?
And that's the next question. I mean, because where you come from and where you ascended to, you went through the social ladder. So you got to see the different attitudes and the different doors that open. A lot of people don't get to see that. And it's and let's say, for instance, you had a friend from back in the day when you were like 14 and you saw him out when you were with your colleagues at work. They might be like, huh? I don't understand. You know what I'm saying?
Because I do, man.
People don't realize that there is an attitude, a fake attitude that is geared toward this construct in America, which is success. And like for me, the success is going backwards. It's gotten simpler. Like I literally want a tiny house. I want a tiny house with a wood burning stove so I can play my guitar and hang out and watch the birds. I'm getting hippie. I mean, but it's
I'm getting hippie. I love it.
I mean, but
hey, you're getting real, right? You're getting real.
I mean, because there's a lot of things that, I mean, for me, and I'm sure you've seen them too, there's a lot of constructs that you thought were taboo, but as you age, especially if you get over 40, you really start to question those things and start to say, is what they were saying real? And then you go and investigate and you're like, it was a bunch of bullshit. Like
from A to Z bullshit.
Like all this is cool. Like these people are cool as, they got my back or they accept me for who I am. So have you seen that? Because you said when you go through a spiritual, you'll see who your friends are. What has been the fallout from that and how has it helped you?
Well, the fallout at first was just to get real and raw was very hurtful. Who you thought your friends were, who you thought would love and support you unconditionally and respect your decision to really want to go out and serve your fellow human, even if it was going to mean at a significantly less income than I used to make. If they put my worth as a friend on my title and what I brought to the table with that network. And at that time no ego. I mean, I was at the top of the game at a young age at a very competitive world, but it wasn't me. And so for me, it was very hurtful, but the fallout, looking back on it now, I can look back it's been 7 years completely gone, 10 years since the transformation. Those people that fell out made space for the right people. So the fallout ended up being what I didn't know at the time, the biggest blessing of my life. And it's made my network has leveled up. My friendships are the best they've ever been because they're based on realness. And my gauge, my discernment, my boundary has significantly improved because I can't allow fake, toxic people into my life. Because what will I do? It doesn't take much for this train to get off the tracks, dude. I will become that fake, toxic person. And I don't want that. And so I need real, raw, authentic, real conversations. And I need to tell people sometimes I don't have all the answers. I haven't figured it out. I don't know what I'm doing. I need help. And my friends and network now would be the first to show up. My old network, any kind of weakness or any kind of fall, and we all have it. We all make mistakes. We all do shit we wish we didn't do. They'll judge and condemn and persecute you for that. Whereas the new group is like, well, before that even happens, they'll slap me in the face, say, look, man, you're out of your value system. This is not you. This is not who you want to be. So the fallout at first was extremely painful and brutal, sometimes publicly brutal. Like I remember toward the end going to a full firm meeting. This is a big organization, and they're literally making fun of me publicly, my fellow partners, because I would take time to meditate. I would take time to journal and get a space of gratitude. They're like, well, you can go to Tommy's office and light a candle in your ass and sing Kumbaya, or you can go out with us and make some money, or you can join us at the strip club tonight, throw down some money, and let's throw back 87 bourbons, or you can go sing Kumbaya. Publicly, they would say these things.
Oh, that's right.
Publicly.
You're in Atlanta. You're in the place where deals are done in the strip club.
I don't want to say this. You know what? I'm going to call them out, man, because the world has changed. You know where one of the top 4 largest public accounting firms took me, and this place is world renowned. It's closed for all the right reasons now. They took me to the Gold Club on my interview day. And you probably remember the Gold Club. It made national news for my recruiting. Yeah. I'm not making that up, man.
I believe it. You know, but like I said, the world is changing. But let's jump into the now, because as Eckhart Tolle says, you know, you need to be in the now. And for those of you who don't know who Eckhart Tolle is, look him up. Power of Now. Who is your perfect client?
My perfect client would be a man or woman with ambition and drive, would be someone who wants a life of not only impact, significance, purpose, and meaning, but they don't want to compromise. They want to be better in their relationships with their spouse, their relationships with their family. They want to level up all phases of their life. I'm a business and money guy at heart. That's what I was classically trained to do, both in school and in the world. And I want people to make as much money, whether it's the B's or the M's or the 100,000 or whatever they want to make, whatever that number is, I want them to achieve it so that they can most of the people that come through my door are ready for help. They're ready. You know, there's some form of their life, whether it's their mindset, you know, that voice inside our head, or whether it's a relationship with a family and friend, or a relationship with a business colleague, or they want to jump ship, or they want to just be better in all phases. That's my ideal client, the person that knows they don't have it figured out. And to me, the true masters in life, the more I read, the more I travel around this world, the more I talk to people of different cultures and languages and religions, I realize I don't know anything. I know nothing, but I'm constantly seeking and growing and surrounding myself with people who help. Those are the people that I want in my life. Those are the people, whether it's a mastermind format that I run, a one-on-one retreats that I run, or even just someone who picks up my book, Legendary. I just want the people who want to just be a little bit better than they were yesterday. That's all.
All right. Who helped you to get to right now, where you are? In this guy right here says, I need to put this in a book form. I need to connect with people to help the energy of it. I need to, because you can have the vision, but you don't
execute
the path.
Yep.
So how did you get to your execution? Because you're going through some turmoil, and of course your head is not the most clear because you're in a whirlwind and you're picking new stuff out, and you're attaching that to yourself. But then how to share it with people? What helped you along the way?
Two people come to mind. One group and 2 people come to mind. I did have the foresight and wisdom, and I didn't even know what a life coach was. And in my old world, that was foo-foo nonsense. Life coach, that's for wimps. But I was like, all right. And I call her Saint Nancy. A woman named Nancy Vito appeared in my life, and I worked with her for 3.5 years. So tactically, the roadmap to get to where I was. And I was also working with this Buddhist psychologist named Adam Funderburk. This dude's got 1 foot here and 1 foot, I think, in heaven, man. He just, from a Western psychology standpoint to Eastern philosophies and the goodness that comes out of his mouth and the tactics for self-confidence, self-respect, unconditional self-love, mastering your mind, genius. And then talk about angels. A gentleman that used to hate me started falling in love with everything. I mean, seriously, we sat next to each other at University of Georgia football. The guy hated me. And he saw me go through this mass change. And then he went through a huge life crisis that I just held space for him. He approached me one day and said, look, man, there's this great group called, it's a mastermind group called Iron Sharpens Iron. And it's exactly the people who are doing what you want to do.
That's a men's group, isn't it?
It's a men's group. Yep. It's a men's group.
Is that a Christian men's group?
It's a Christian men's group. It is.
I thought so. I thought I've heard of it.
Aaron Walker's the leader. Yeah.
Yep.
But the men in that group, especially Tom Schwab, who's now got his own group and he runs Interview Ballet podcast. You probably know him. Those guys were instrumental in showing me the tactical how. I knew I didn't know how to do it. I knew how to build a world-class financial firm. I'd done it in multiple formats. I did not know how to build a world-class coaching, speaking, and writing business. And so I was wise enough, my mentors were wise enough to show me the way to ask for help. And I doubled down and invested. So I paid 3 separate groups, 2 people and a group, because I knew the best investment you can make is in yourself, right? And in your betterment. And they helped show me the way. And because of that, each tier, as I progress in this career, it's weird. You know this as much as I do. You were talking about sales and energy, man. There's something when and it's going to sound strange, when you do this work and you invest in yourself and you surround yourself with great people, you vibrate different, man.
Yep.
It's like the light attracts more light. And I lived in the darkness for 36 years, man. And that place is shitty. And so
it feels good when you're there, though.
For brief amounts of time, man.
It makes you, I can't even explain it, but when you come out to the land of peace, and don't get me wrong, because I have my dark moments, but now I'm able to dissect.
We all do.
I dissect them. I'm like, why am I feeling this way? Why do I want to do this? I know it's not right, so why would I do it? Oh, it's my ego. Let me leave that alone.
Ego, power, and as men, we crave respect. But what's interesting is when the law of attraction, whether you believe in that or not, I believe it down to the core of my body. When you put out light and goodness, and you truly come from a place of service and love, and from the bottom of my heart, man, I lived on one side of karma. I need to spend the rest of my life, however life it is, on the other side of karma. But what's interesting is the people, the resources, the coaches, the mentors, the friends that are appearing in my life. I would have never in a million years dreamed this possible.
Right. And
if some kid from the south side of Atlanta, and there's so many millions of other stories, inspiring stories, here in Atlanta, Tyler Perry's a household name and a huge celebrity.
Yeah.
Story is unbelievable. And if me and him can do it and countless of others can do it, anyone can do it. You just got to take action and continued action and make you your full-time job, because I truly believe that if you make you your full-time job, you will love better, you will lead better, and you will ultimately be more happier and successful in life, whatever that means to you.
So what's coming up in the next, I know we're in a paradigm shifting time. And I typically ask this question, but it's still relevant. What do you see yourself doing in the next 12 to 18 months?
I've got it completely mapped out, man.
Do you now?
I do, brother. I put everything on paper, and you can't see it all around me, these walls that we can write on. I have my 12 decks. Now, whether or not it never looks exactly like you write it down.
Correct.
When you think you're going to go left and the world and God says you're going right, man. Yep. And so, we have began we run these quarterly. We've done them virtually. We're getting ready to do them live again as the world opens up. And I believe the world will open up. It'll look a little different, but I believe we crave connection. We miss each other. Whether we think, the news wants us to believe you're no longer my neighbor, you're my enemy. To hell with that. 99.9% of people don't believe that crap. I believe the people are craving connection. I believe they're wanting to go deeper. And I believe this has awakened us in so many ways to be better humans. And so we're going to run 4 to 8 retreats in 2021. We've got another one coming in 2020. We want to form 4 to 8 more masterminds. That's where 8 to 10 people come together and form Run Brain to help level us up in all phases of our life. Yeah. We're going to continue speaking. I just spoke, believe it or not, live at a place. But I'm doing a lot of virtual. Not when I spoke, no. And you want me to get real with you?
Yes.
Me and my team member caught COVID at that event. Yep, we caught COVID. The one time we traveled and went and spoke live, we both caught COVID. So it's kind of interesting.
That is interesting because a lot of people think it's a hoax.
Oh, well, I've had it. It's real. It's not a hoax. And my teammate sitting 8 feet from me's had it. And it's no joke. We were the very fortunate ones. We had hers was probably moderate to heavy. Mine was moderate to mild. It's very real. It's very serious. We will get through it as a humans, as society. This is the 50th, 100th, how many pandemics we've had. It's very real. But I do believe, so I'm doing a lot of virtual summits, a lot of virtual speaking. I just spoke to all of Club Core last week. So we're going to continue spreading the light. We're going to continue the one-on-one. We've got a flourishing one-on-one coaching practice. We'll probably take that down a little bit, but we're going to touch more lives, and we're going to run retreats. We're going to run events. I'm going to speak at other people's events. They're going to speak at my events, and we're just going to continue to lead, love, and inspire, and put light out in what seems like a very dark world. It's not a dark world at all. It's just what we choose to focus on. There's love, learnings, and goodness everywhere. So we've got it mapped out in the 18 months, and so I am flipping excited, and I'm just truly grateful and humbled to be here, man.
So where can people find you?
They can find me at on Instagram. I actually put inspiration, love, goodness, lights, tactics, life hacks, financial hacks at Tommy Breedlove. So if you're looking, or Facebook at Legendary Choice, if you're looking for light in a very toxic feed, come visit me. I'd love to hear from you.
So
if you go to
on Facebook, it's Tommy. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Say it again. Break them off for me.
Instagram, Tommy Breedlove.
Okay.
LinkedIn, Tommy Breedlove. Facebook's kind of strange. It's called Legendary Choice. I believe one of the only true powers we have in life is choice. Okay. So my book is called Legendary, and that was already taken. I'm sure some celebrity took that sometime. Right. But Legendary Choice. And if you go to tommybreedlove.com/gifts, GIFTS, I have a Southern accent, so I have to spell it so people can't understand me. We're giving away the financial confidence and freedom chapters because so many people are struggling right now. And we're also giving away the mastering your mindset chapters. I just think that helps overcoming the fear, worry, and uncertainty that's going on right now. And if you like that flavor, you can pick up the book Legendary in any of your favorite bookstore. I would say the airport. It's in Audible, it's in electronic, it's in paperback and hardback. It's available everywhere. And I do believe legendary is not something I believe I am. It's something I aspire to be. But it's something given to us by our peers, society, friends, culture. And you can either be a ridiculously horrific legend, there's a bunch we can name, or you can be an amazing, impactful legend. And for me, it's about leaving a legacy, significance, meaning in this world a little bit better than we found it. And to me, that's building and living a legendary life.
Well, Tommy Breedlove, I want to thank you for being on the Billionaire Lifestyle Podcast, sir.
Emmett, what an honor, brother. And nothing but love for you. Pure Detroit, from Atlanta to Detroit, man.
Right. Nothing but love for you, baby.
And my name is Breedlove, and I was born with that. finally I'm manifesting that in my actual life too, brother. So I'm thankful for that as well.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, I told you were a billionaire. So I'm going to give you two instances. So if you look at your hand, if you just literally look at your hand from the longest finger down to where your wrist meets your hand, just your hand, and I want you to flip it back and forth. That thing, your hand, what we gave it a title, is made up of cells. So if you wonder how many cells are just in that area alone, there's at least a billion, because you have muscles, you have veins, you have skin, you have bone, you have so many things that comprise just that hand and its complexity. And we're just getting to the fact where we can make one of these artificially. And it's just taken us that long just to be able to find something with an opposable thumb. Now, remember, your mom and your dad got together. However, might have been some Jack Daniels involved, but they got together and he gave her some information. And so this is what happens. And this sounds sexist, but I'm just going to roll with it. When you give a woman something, she makes you things. She will make you a home if you buy her a house. She will make you food or dinner if you buy her food. And if you give her a piece of yourself, she will make you another human. So that's where you came from. 2 became 4, 4 became 8, 8 became 16 for 30 days, and it was over 1 billion cells, and you hadn't hit the planet yet. So you are a billionaire. Now, I want you to realize something. I talked about the cells. Where do you think we get the self from? Because it is not you that gets hungry, it is your cells that get hungry, and you feed the cells. We are spiritual beings having a physical presence, and we are fractal. Because if you go way out in the universe, and you start to look in on us, we look like dots. And then you get closer to us, we look like these forms. But then if you go deeper within us, we look like dots again. That's the cells. And if you get down even further, we look like what we saw way out in the universe, which is galaxies and solar systems. We're all fractal, we're all special, but remember, spiritual beings having a physical experience. If you don't think anybody loves you, next time you get out the shower, look into the mirror and say it to yourself, I love you. And then listen to my voice and hear, I love you. Till next time, peace.